Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, checking out this video. Yo, why is my existence so lit? Hashtag swimming pool, hashtag cocktail, hashtag this pineapple life.
Holy shit. Look at all the comments.
Look at the views.
I think he's being metaphorical because we don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Right. So you used another metaphor in that metaphor to explain that one?
We're about to go stratospheric.
I wanted to begin with the relationship among music and image and feeling in the art, because you're so good at it. And I wanted to discuss the art behind making that marriage work. I love the feelings that you explore in your work. I just like envisioning you walking down the street, spotting something cinematic or poetic, and then assigning framing to it and music. So I'm curious, like, what makes that marriage work in your eyes? And were there any particular images that you plucked from the wild that served as like visual or emotional inspiration for this?
I guess for me, it's so much of what the tone is that you're trying to achieve helps dictate your choices, and that sort of makes it all come together as a whole. But partly why I love making movies, coming from a photography background, it's just an extension of that, but with more layers and things that I already love that are part of my life, and getting to incorporate those things, and also collaborating with people that I am really inspired by, and can have that kind of bouncing back and forth with. But I think in general, my sort of theme or motto that I look for in life and art is just kind of finding the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure how much that applies to this film, but there's all those little details that are always really important to me.
So when you're, out doing things and something kind of comes to you, do you have to deal with it right then and there, or do you have the capacity to kind of store it away and like stew on it and see if it evolves into something else?
I think I kind of store it. Like there's all these little pieces that you go through in your day that you kind of remember or savor. Like, and even reading a book or something, there's some character or passage that you want to see come to life, or especially with like photographs, like I want to see a photograph come to life and recreate it, because in any attempt of recreating it, it takes on its own life form and becomes more a part of you.
There's a quote that came to mind when, just because Andrew Garfield's character is absolutely fascinating in this film. Link, and it's from Joseph Campbell, and it was the hero of yesterday becomes the tyrant of tomorrow unless he crucifies himself today. And that's just kind of what came to mind as I was watching this character unfold and the directions that he goes in. Was there any like particular quotes or pieces of literature or anything outside of maybe just like the culture of today that helped inform this character?
Yeah, I think generally I'm more inspired by the classics, and then how do you kind of incorporate it into the modern world? Like, of course, I was Facing the Crowd was a big inspiration for me, and felt very relevant. But in terms of literature, there was a Fitzgerald short story called The Crack Up, and Bud Schulberg, who wrote Facing the Crowd, also wrote some books, and one of his books that he wrote was called The Disenchanted, and it's about his actual true story of getting to know Fitzgerald and kind of getting to know your heroes. So those were some elements that I wanted to kind of create, or I think I always kind of have that interest in working with these characters that have a crack up or kind of get crazy, because they're exciting and fun to kind of make.
What was it like just letting Andrew go in this film, because there's like when he's doing like the hashtag bit, I just can only imagine that you probably just let him go with that.
Well, the one scene where he was just with it was all cell phone footage. I literally, I mean, it was just me operating the phone. And then at one point I just gave him the phone on a selfie stick, and he, I think, was really enjoying himself. But it was really fun for me to let him do the things that are exciting to him and that he wants to play with and experiment with and try. And yeah, I mean, he was such a collaborator and brought so much to the table that you just weren't expecting, and doing very courageous things that an actor would for that level, I guess.
Yeah. There's quite a few moments in this film that have stuck with me, and one of them is when Link, he's wearing that suit, and then he's holding the picture out there and talking about eating art.
Mhm.
I'm curious, like, when it comes to something like that has such a profound impact, do you dangle anything out there that you maybe don't have a complete understanding of, but it's interesting to you?
Well, I go into something because I want to understand it, but I don't, especially with this medium that's so new and what's going on with this technology. I don't think there is a way to fully grasp or understand it yet, because as a culture we don't know. But it was fun and helpful for me to kind of really explore and dive deep into the world in order to kind of come out and feel cleansed from the things that I was feeling and witnessing and grappling with.
There's quite a few lines in here that I think are really great, and ones that seem like very random, but for some reason I can't help but just laugh about it later. And one of them is about how bringing back cauliflower this year, just like all these little really funny random ones. And I'm curious about like finding those kind of quotes with your writing partner.
Well, that was all Jason. He's amazing at improv. Um, in fact, everything that Jason did was completely his own and amazing. But I always like to try to find lines that feel very poignant to what I'm trying to say without being expositional, and also trying to be fun and funny. But I really like to leave room for the actors to have space to do what feels right to them in the moment. And I think those to have that kind of liberty it really makes for the exciting things that you're not prepared for and feel real.
Mhm. I'm gonna speak with Autumn, your DP on this in a little bit, and she's somebody whose work I've followed for quite some time now, and I'm always interested in the work that she produces. There's so many shots in here that I really feel like I could just hang them on my wall behind me. There's one, and it's during like a very critical moment of the film. Um, that, and I'll just kind of talk around it, but it involves a split screen. So there's that one, and then also Mia's character learning some information that you explore this like disorienting kind of space to kind of capture that feeling. What was your relationship with her to kind of capture these I guess it kind of hints at like what we were talking about at the top, but like creating that visual language and kind of diving a little bit deeper into the emotions of these characters?
Well, Autumn's one of my best friends. I mean, we made Palo Alto together, and so I'm constantly sending her photos and references and things that inspire me, and they can be totally random, and she'll get mad at me if it looks too ugly. But that shot that you're talking about, the Steadicam shot, that was something I always had in my mind, of like him swallowing her. But I was really stoked that we were able to achieve this Steadicam shot in like 3 takes, and partly that's really the choreography of like the actor and the operator. So I was really proud we got that moment. But Autumn and I talked a lot about like the use of Steadicam, like we would start using it progressively later, and it's fun to have those kind of conversations of the sort of language that you want to develop for the film. and pick and choose like moments that, you know, I want to use more mixed media rather than when it's the more cinematic kind of classic world.
Cut. That was great.